Could you permit me to put this story this way to say, here is a story of a woman in her 40s who happened to be kpied by her son of 18 years old. An 18-year-old boy by his mother because of PS4? Maybe that's exactly what the story looks like. Because what I'm about to share with you now is a true life story. Yes, and I got this story from a first-hand person, right? I mean, from a person that is very, very close to the family where this happened. In fact, he's actually the younger brother to the woman that died. What happened? On Monday, which happened to be 13th of this same month, or this same April we're talking about, this guy noticed he has not been hearing from his sister. Now, on Sunday, 12th of this same April, he spent the whole day in her house from morning till about 8 p.m. thereabout, then he left. Then on Monday, everyone tried to reach her normally. Her number, she wasn't picking, no way to reach her and all that. On Tuesday, the same thing. And on Wednesday, that now happened to be 13th of this same April, 2026. People from home, village called him and, okay, you should go to her house and check up on her to know what exactly is the issue. And on getting to the compound was quiet. What happened? This story I'm telling you happened in a very popular estate here in Abuja, but I will keep those informations private for, some community policies sake and all that. So, I was saying, on getting into the house, he managed to force himself into the apartment itself. But just from the door of the apartment, smell everywhere, flies everywhere. He asked the neighbors, did anybody come out of this compound of recent, which was that same Wednesday? They said yes, that her son, who happened to be 18 years, came out this morning and drove her car out. He was wondering, but everywhere was smelling, so it was some kind of confusing to say, could it be a rat that died and smelling around the compound, or it's just something beyond our imagination? But somehow they forced themselves into the house, and on opening the door, they met her lying down on the ground. She's kpied already. Could you permit me to put it this way, that an 18-year-old boy kpied his mother because of PS4? Maybe that's exactly what the story looks like. Because after they were able to, bring out the body and all that, and police came into the matter, started investigating, and I searched for this boy and arrested him that same Wednesday. It happened to be 16th of this month. Because don't forget, this incident happened on the 13th, which happened to be Monday. That means this boy still left her lying down on the ground there for a whole 3 days. Do you know the sad part of the story? He comes in and out of that compound because from information, he has been sleeping in the compound, in the house, right? And he came out from that same house that happened to be on the 13th, which is 3 days after this incident happened. Then he was arrested, and they tried to, tease him and all that for him to bring out information. What happened? The only information he has been able to give out was that he was drunk. And somehow, he pushed the mother and she fell. So what exactly happened that made him push her? Had the whole mind to push his own mother, the mother that gave birth to him. He pushed her and she fell to the ground, and her head, smashed to the ground backward. And that's how she fell. Neighbors only attested that they heard a loud scream that same Monday, but the scream was once and nothing happened again, which somehow maybe they were just thinking she maybe laughed or something, because they were expecting to hear the screaming the second time again, which never came up, and that's how she was silent. After interrogations, which that's from the information she has been able to give out for now, after the whole investigation, the whole thing and all that, he has just been able to say that he was high on alcohol, and then he pushed her, and that was it. What could have actually led to that part of the story? An 18-year-old boy? So that means possibly there is something they entered into, like an argument, or maybe he wanted to do something and then the mother prevented him from doing it. And somehow that may lead to the whole argument, the whole struggle that would have made him push her, and she fell backward, and that was the end of Solomon Grundy. Now, I want us to come now into the moral of this story. I think in Proverbs 22 and verse 6 that said, "Train up a child in the way he should go, so that when he grow old, he will never depart from it." I want to bring it to you this morning for you to understand that a child you fail to train well is just it's just your own seed you have contributed into the society. And do you know what? The sad thing is that the child will start manifesting from you as a parent. If you fail to train a child well, the manifestation of that child will begin from you even before it will escalate into the wider society. That's why I keep saying it on this space, that we are a reflection of our society. What you see in the society in Nigeria today is a reflection of each family's contribution into the society. And on the larger scale, in our politics, in our economics, in every sector of this country, this is a reflection of what is happening. Now, let me draw our mind also to a popular thing that happens between children, kids, when they are really young. Do you understand? If you have a kid of from 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and all that, have you noticed that maybe somehow jokingly you're trying to stop a child from something, and then the child start crying and is hitting you and is spanking you and is hitting you? Mothers will just laugh at it. Parents will just laugh, leave him, this, that. But there is something my godfather used to say. I will see him addressing his little kids. He talks to them like they are hearing. Do you understand? And initially I'll be surprised. This way, the way you talk to them, you talk to them like that. He said, you're the one who thinks they are not hearing. Or you're the one who thinks they don't know anything. He said they know what you're talking about. So you keep talking to them until they will learn. Now, imagine such characters escalating from baby because you try to correct the child from something and then he's spanking you. And then you will not correct him, you will watch him. Right? These are the little character, I think, our habits, I think, that contribute and then come into a blown manifestation when they begin to get to adulthood. Why? Because most times we spare the rod and we spoil the child. We pet issues too much. We don't want to correct them. We don't want to really come out and discipline our children. When I said permit you to say that he kpai his mother because of PS4, this is because as at on Wednesday, when he was caught and arrested, from everything that was tracked and gathered from the information of his movement so far, after he left the home that same Wednesday, he went to go and buy PS4 using the mother's ATM card. So can you imagine in the kind of society we live in, when a child of he's still a child, a boy of 18 years buying his mother, struggle with her. When we're 18, how many of us couldn't have the mind to talk back to our parents? Not even talking about going physical, pushing her and she fell. And after falling, you couldn't even go further to scream for help so people could maybe somehow rush her to the hospital. He kept quiet, and for 3 days he was sleeping in that house, crossing her by the door, going in, coming out, going in, coming out. I wouldn't have the mind to pick up her car keys and drive her car. You can imagine. If you have followed this story to this point, I just want to make it brief because of time. Please comment in this comment section. Leave a comment in the comment section. What is the moral of this story? What have you learned so far? Because from the last point of the information I had, the division where the case was even taken to, I've already made all necessary arrangements to push him to the police force headquarters, because the matter at this point is bigger than what their division can handle. This is actually not a good one to hear. I want you to share this story so that people will learn. People will know that a child that you fail to train well is just your own contribution into the society, and the manifestation will begin from you. May God help us and save us from the enemy within, even when we pray against the enemy without. Have a good day. you.